Coach Straughan, thank you for joining us today. As the longest-serving Loggers coach, what sets this year's team apart?
Well, I think the difference in this team is talent across the board. We've had some really great players play for the Loggers in the last 8 years, but this team's the most talented team that I've seen across the board. Offense, defense, special teams, and in every position. We don't have a player that can't make plays. And I think that makes them, pretty difficult to deal with on Saturdays. And they're also hard workers. And, they understand the significance of education and being in the classroom and being good teammates.
So you've been working with the Loggers offense for a number of years. What do you like working with quarterbacks and receivers?
Well, I love the passing game. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm a pass-happy type person. Football's kind of evolved into this game where we spread it out and we make them cover every inch of the field horizontally and vertically. And quarterbacks, especially the quarterback position, has become so sophisticated and involved in terms of X's and O's and attacking the weaknesses of defense. So it's really sort of an intellectual position, and football's become an intellectual game as far as I'm concerned. And so working with quarterbacks and receivers and spreading that offense out and throwing the ball over the place is a fun enterprise. And a lot of guys get to touch the ball as opposed to a running game where you just have a couple of running backs and a quarterback, with the ball in their hands.
So you talk about multiple guys touching the ball. Last game, 4 receivers had multiple receptions. What can you tell us about your receiving core?
Well, they are so talented. The thing that I try to do is figure out ways, honestly, to get the ball in all their hands so that we don't spend too much time favoring a receiver. But it's, a lot of it is just taking what the defense gives you. But I can tell you there are guys that you get the ball in their hands at 5 yards, they can turn into a touchdown. They can beat guys deep. We are strong and we're fast and we are athletic at every single receiver position this year. And just to let you know, the backups, the guys who start on defense, they can come over at any time and play receiver too. So we've got a very talented group of receivers.
So Brendan Wong had a season-high 25-yard passing attempts last week. How has the pass volume just really influenced the last couple of games?
Well, one of the things is that the head coach, John Steller, has been the guy who's kind of implemented more of a passing game. He came here in mind with installing the running game, and it's been very effective. And you saw how effective it was in last week's game, in the beginning of the game, but also in the second half. But he's the one who's put in a lot of the passing plays. Some of them I have suggested, but when you can run the ball like we do and also throw the ball, and I think that's really part of the 44 points last week, is that team, I don't think they really ever knew what we were going to do next, throw, run. And Mr. Wong has really evolved. If you watch him on film from high school, he was that playmaker guy. And so he was always able to escape the pocket and find some guy and throw down the field. I think where he's really evolved is learning how to drop back, stay in the pocket, and at least make a read on the primary and secondary receiver. And that's really the difference maker for him. But I will point out that he's a guy that he can escape that pocket, find some guy down the field, and make a great throw. And he's got some great receivers.
And even play receiver sometimes.
Yes, yeah.
So what do you hope to see from your passing game this week?
I just want these kids to keep progressing. I love the passing game, and I'm a pass-first guy. But to be honest, I am really excited about the Loggers being able to run the football. And I need to talk about the offensive line. Those guys have been in the trenches, and they have been making holes. And I'll tell you, last week, that team knew we were running in the second half. We're up 25 points. They know we're not going to be throwing the ball much. They knew we were running, and our offensive line, who's undersized, really hard-working kids, I've had lots of them as students in the class, and they were still making holes. But make no mistake about it, we've got a talented backfield. We've probably got 4 or 5 running backs that at any given moment, they are going to make a play on you. And all of a sudden, it's a 20-yard gain. It's a touchdown. And sometimes I see our running backs even come through holes that aren't very large, and they get through that hole quickly. And you need to understand, a lot of these kids are really playing this year as a freshman for the first time ever. And they're playing against kids that are juniors and seniors, and they're able to perform this well. My hope is they'll, work hard in school, come back next year and keep this team going so we can have a bunch of juniors and seniors. But we have a very talented running game. And I actually think that's what's helped our passing game more than anything.
Thank you, Coach Straughan. Appreciate you making time for us.
You're welcome.
And go Loggers.
All right, go Loggers.